more. Chapter 12. Not even halfway through, though. Emily's right arm was getting stiff. Hanging onto the rope on the raft was restful, but at a price. She felt uncomfortably close to the people holding on around her, as if she were being examined and judged unworthy of her spot, as if she were a cheater. After all, it was Richard who had fought for this space, not her, and she and Catherine were the only women on or near the raft that she could see in the dim light of the moon. She felt exposed in just her underpants and a thin camisole. The man in front of her seemed to have a silent collusion with the man behind her. They frequently kicked her, separately and underwater, as if by accident. They sandwiched her whenever the sniffed loudly while the other cleared his throat in her ear. Her heart raced, but she kept her head up and pretended not to notice. "Hey, Richard, it's your turn now," she said. "You okay?" Yeah, I just feel like swimming for a while. My arm is stiff." They exchanged places, and she was free. She stretched her arms a few times in a wide breaststroke. She blew up her leggings a little more. The breeze was stronger now, and the swells were growing like giant undulating moguls in a ski slope. And I'm guessing that you don't have any idea what moguls on a ski slope are. But there are these giant hills that they make, and then there's a valley top part, which the name I can't remember, maybe crest, like this. So like if you're in a raft and there's this motion like that, sometime you'll be down so far in the swell you can just see water like above you, and then you'll whoop come up on top of the swell, and then you can see ocean way far out, but then you're going like this, seasick. After a few hours of this, a person could get seasick, she thought. The last time she had gone skiing, how old had she been? 11? She could feel the moguls in her sleep all night, as if her inner ear had been trapped in the rhythm of the slopes. She guessed that would probably happen to her again if she was rescued tonight. She turned to approach the raft again. It was swaying in the swells. It was already almost completely submerged, and the dipped the passengers deep in the water in a rhythmic motion. The people on top were getting nervous with each dip. It was slippery, and the waves were causing them to lean on each other. To make matters worse, they shifted their bodies, trying to regain their balance, trying not to fall, or just because they were anxious, and their movements combined with the swells to make the raft sway even more. Emily heard Richard try to quiet the passengers. Then she heard Catherine. "Richard? There's a lot of big fish in the water, Richard." "Oh, God, Richard, they're really big." "It's okay, love. Stay still. Listen, they're dolphins. I can see them." Emily instinctively clenched her fists. She couldn't see anything in the water around her. What had Catherine seen? She had an urge to be closer to Richard. He was so sure of everything. She needed to be near him. Catherine said, "Dolphins?" "Yes." Richard began, but whatever he said next was drowned out by a scream on the raft. It was a man yelling in Bahasa Indonesia, "Sharks! There are sharks!" There was a sudden thrashing and splashing in the water. Were the sharks attacking, or were the people just panicking? The water churned. She saw several people fall off the raft in succession as it tipped wildly. The ocean was moving all around her. She choked on water spraying into her mouth. It was almost as if she were underwater. It was so hard to find a breath of real air among the waves. She gripped her leggings float so tightly that her fingernails pressed into the palm of her hand. She looked frantically for Richard. She tried to cry out to him, but swallowed a mouthful of salt water instead. She heard a hiss of air escaping from the raft. Had it popped? She heard screams for help. Whew, let's wait there till tomorrow.